Hey guys, we're working on the B part of yesterday's lesson, so it's going to be a little bit of factoring and of course putting together all the graphing skills and everything we learned. So notes out, here we go. Just again, we're going to review some factoring. A, you've got your difference of perfect squares, so x plus 3, x minus 3. And then of course B, you've got your 4 terms, so we're going to split it in the middle and factor by grouping. So on your first 2 terms, you have that GCF of x squared. Last 2 terms, we do have a GCF. It's not very exciting. I'm going to take a 1 out. And then, of course, my final answer is my matching set of parentheses. 2x minus 3, I always kind of think of it as it's a common factor on our 2 terms. And then our x squared, our GCFs, and the 1. All right, so next up, guys, grab your graphing calculators because we're going to take a look at max and min, which we've already covered before, but I'm just going to review it here really quickly with you. You can see, of course, I've got some tips here on the screen. We've already done max and minimum, but I'm also going to add to it zeros. Remember, anytime you need to do anything in your graphing calculator, you're going to be in your calculate menu, so you're going to hit second, trace, and then your max, your min, everything's going to be in there. So use your graphing utility to graph the function and approximate accurate to 3 decimal places, any real zeros and extra. Okay, so you can see I already cheated and I typed mine in earlier. So we're going to be looking for this 0 right here, and I'm going to show you how to get your calculator, find it. You've got your lowest point, your min, and then your highest point, your max. And of course our calculator is going to do this all for us. All right, so calculator's out, here we go. Let's start typing it in. So of course in your y equals menu, I'm going to clear all of this out. So I've got negative 3x cubed minus 4x squared plus x minus 3. Hit graph, and there's the picture we already saw. Now I'm looking at that 0, and it looks close to negative 2, but we want to get it a little more accurate. So I'm going to do my second trace, number 2. I'm going to left arrow and put my cursor somewhere over here, anywhere above your x-axis. I'm going to hit enter below the x-axis, so right arrow now. Hit enter. Nobody wants to guess. I don't know why that's even a feature. And there we go. So we're going to round that to 3 decimal places. So I'm just going to put negative 1.819. And of course, you've done the max and min before. We've already covered that. Remember, same thing. You're going to get into your second trace menu. And obviously, minimum or maximum, whichever point you're trying to find, you can do that. I'm just going to go ahead and jot it down here quick for you. So your min is at negative 1, negative 5. The max, 0.111, 2.942. All right. So next up, really pretty easy stuff. We're just going to do some multiplying here, some FOILing. So of course, first up, it asks you to write it in function form. So I'm going to do f of x instead of y. We kind of did this a little bit yesterday or the day before, where you had to find 2 functions, one that opens up, one that opens down with the given zeros. Same situation. I'm going to write them in factor form. So of course, just to get x for 0, to get 1, x minus 1, and then 6, we're going to need x minus 6. Now, what order you multiply in is completely up to you. I'm going to leave the x out front, and I'm going to do these guys first, so x and x. I'm going to do our middle terms here together, minus 6, minus 1, and then plus 6. Last but not least, let's just distribute our x through everything. So x cubed minus 7x squared plus 6x. Boards being difficult, but there we go. All right, let's do just one more. Again, easy, just a lot of FOILing. Same thing, but you just have obviously your radicals in here for your exact answers. 2 different, first one, second one, 2 different zeros, so we're going to have a quadratic this time. So of course, to get the 1, I'm going to have x minus 1. To get plus root 3, minus. Always switch the signs. Same deal on the second one. We still have positive 1, so minus 1 in factor form. And then plus root 3. A lot of distributing, but a lot of middle terms will cancel out. So I'm going to have x squared minus x plus x root 3 minus x plus 1. And then, of course, minus root 3. And now we're going to take the negative root 3 through. So minus root 3x plus root 3. And then, of course, minus square root of 3, square root of 3, 3. Lots of terms, but of course we're going to have some that cancel here for us. So my x root 3, my root 3's, no why, everything keeps moving here. Okay, let's combine them. Final answer, x squared minus x, and then we're going to have minus 2. So just be careful, of course, on your signs. Okay, last one, similar type of problem, then we'll get into the graphs on the back. So of course you're 0 with 3. Now multiplicity just means we only have one of those, so I only need one x minus 3's. Okay, the 2, it says we have a multiplicity of 3, so we have to write that down 3 times. Now, again, what order you want to distribute, totally up to you. I'm just going to start with these first two, x and x. Minus 2x minus 3x. And then, of course, I'm going to have plus 6. Let's do these back two together. X and x. Minus 2x minus 2x. Combine it. And then plus 4. And now you just have the fun-filled job of distributing all of this together, which is going to be a lot of terms because you're doing a trinomial times a trinomial. You're going to end up with 9 total terms here. X to the 4th minus 4x cubed, 4x squared minus 5x cubed. And just keep going. Just for the sake of time here, I'm just going to, you can finish the foiling. Final answer, x to the 4th minus 9x cubed plus 30x squared minus 44x plus 24. Here we go. Okay, backside, guys. So here's where we're kind of putting together everything we learned yesterday with the graphs and, of course, now our zeros. So sketch the graph using the leading coefficient. So I'm looking at this even degree and positive 1. Even degrees, both ends work together. Positive 1, they're going to rise. And then just like yesterday, we're going to find the zeros. So I'm going to, 4 zeros I'm thinking about. We're going to solve by factoring. I'm going to take that GCF at x squared out. And then, of course, x squared minus 4 factors into x plus 2, x minus 2. And you get all of your answers. We're going to write down, even if there's multiples like yesterday, x squared equals 0. That's going to give us 2 zeros. We're going to get negative 2, positive 2. So first off, I'm going to, on the x-axis, mark our zeros. 0, negative 2, 2. Now, the important part about having all the answers written down, remember, an even amount of answers, we're going to touch our x-axis there, and we will cross at negative 2 and 2. So both ends rise. I'm going to start out here on the left-hand side. I'm going to draw to my first 0, cross, back to the second one, 0, but that's a touch, so I'm going to reverse directions, and then back through 2. So that's a pretty good rough sketch of the graph. Okay, next up, same thing, third degree. First off, of course, I'm going to talk about our ends. Third degree, we have to split our ends up. We're going to have one of each. Right. Okay, positive 3, so just like slope, your left end is going to fall. Your right end rises. And of course, now we're going to get our zeros. All right, factoring is our favorite friend here. I'm going to pull out the 3x squared. And again, it's important we write all of our zeros so we can talk about our multiplicity. So when you solve your 3x squared equals 0, divide your 3, and we're still going to have 0 for both of those. And obviously 8 for the third one. So again, it's important to recognize you've got the 0 repeated, so we're going to touch there, and 8 we're going to cross. Here's our 8. Okay, left end false, I'm going to start down here somewhere, draw to 0, I'm going to touch, up to 8, and there's my right end rising. So just a rough sketch. Only reason I'm doing this last one is I just want you to have your 5th degree, and of course your 4 terms, so we will get into factoring that by grouping, but let's do our ends, 5th degree, so we're going to have one of each, one left, one right, they'll be split. So of course the left is going to fall, just like slope. The right's going to rise. And then of course let's get our zeros. And I'm going to, like it says, factor by grouping with our 4 terms. I'm going to take x cubed out. I'm going to take 8 out of the back. So I've got my x squared minus 4, my x cubed plus 8. And let's get all of our answers here. So x squared minus 4, of course, you could add 4 and root it, or just it factors your perfect squares, x plus 2, x minus 2. X cubed plus 8, we'll get into that here in a sec. Let me just get these finished written down. Okay, x cubed plus 8. Obviously, there's 3 answers off of that one. One of them is going to be -2. Of course, you can subtract 8 and cube root it. And hopefully we know that cube root of -8 is -2. Now, we should get 3 answers off of this. Here's the deal, though. The other 2 are going to be imaginary. When we get into factoring perfect cubes, we'll see that more. So there are total 5 answers, just 2 of them are imaginary, so clearly I'm not going to worry about those. So -2, we do have a repeated of that, so I know I'm going to touch there, and we'll cross it too. So left end falling, I'm going to draw up to -2 and touch, and through 2 and cross. And there is our graphs. All right, have a great day, everybody.